Yo, Pan, you ready?
Yeah.
Man, let's lock and load.
Yeah.
Just play.
Yeah.
No, turn me up.
Hey.
Nigga, I think we got one.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Tell me, what do you see when you're looking at me?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
On a mission to feed what I'm destined to feed.
Whoa, whoa.
I done been through the pain and the sorrow, the struggle is nothing but love. I'm a soldier, a rider, a ghetto survivor, and all the above. 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 Really, what do you see when you looking at me? See me come up from nothing. See me living my dreams.
Do you want an instant conversation starter in the NFL? Well, all you have to do is bring up the name Johnny Manziel, and then the mercury in the thermometer of opinion will reach its highest peak. However, will he ever be able to translate its freakish athletic ability into being a formidable starter around the league? Max Edison is the sports editor for the Houston Defender and covered Manziel during his college days at Texas A&M. He joined me on Wednesday to give me the inside scoop on whether or not Manziel has the necessary attributes to succeed at the highest level of football. So, Max, first of all, we want to welcome you to the Two-Man Advantage podcast, and we want to thank you for talking about Johnny Manziel with us this afternoon.
My pleasure, Kev. Good to be with you.
So, when we talk about Johnny Manziel, obviously gaining maturity is a step that every quarterback has to take, but it took on a life of its own with Johnny Manziel in terms of him not going to late night parties or the money sign anymore, or going to Vegas the day before training camp. So can you talk to me about him growing as a quarterback off the field?
Well, clearly, Johnny had maturity issues last year. It's not often a guy comes into the NFL with the type of hype and bravado that Johnny came into Cleveland with. He was already great friends with Drake. He was already best friends with LeBron James. And I think things came so natural for him when he was at Texas A&M that he felt like all he'd have to do was step into the NFL and things would continue to work the way they had in the SEC and with him at Texas A&M. And clearly last year was a huge indicator that there was a whole lot more to the NFL than Johnny ever imagined. I think the amount of preparation and study that it takes to be successful, especially as a rookie, was a harsh awakening for him, and I think we saw the benefit of that last year.
And when you talk about his on-the-field playing style, obviously what worked in college for him wasn't working in the NFL. So could you talk to me about the biggest adjustment you think he's had to make from college to the NFL?
Well, I think the biggest thing is he has to learn to become more of a pocket passer. You know, Johnny would take the shotgun snap in A&M and then just look to do whatever he wanted to do. Of course, there was a play, but as soon as it didn't take long, he didn't have much of a progression to go through before he just, started, Johnny footballizing whatever the play was. In the NFL, they have a play. They expect you to go to your first read, your second read, your third read, actually go through a progression. And that was something that Johnny wasn't particularly used to. Also, the speed of the NFL game, you don't play any teams in the NFL where the playing field is not equal as far as the quality of talent. It's not like in the college game where, you might have the FCS school on the schedule, or you might play a SEC team or another Division I team that doesn't have the quality of athletes. So once Johnny, came to realization that the little stuff I used to do, rolling out and running away from guys, there's a cornerback or a safety in the NFL from a school that you've never heard before that not only can run you down from behind, inflict great physical pain on you when
And
they catch you.
we look at Johnny Manziel, if you follow the NFL, obviously you have an opinion one way or the other. So can you tell me why you think he's a polarizing figure to so many?
Well, I think one of the things is he came in with such a level of arrogance and confidence, not really appreciating or giving full respect to the NFL game. You know, the NFL game is not the college game. You know, we've seen the playing field or the landscape of the NFL is littered with Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks who never did diddly squat in the NFL. The NFL is its own world, and you have to pay the price. You have to come in with a certain level of dedication. It's not a part-time job. You look at some of the guys that have been successful, you know, here recently, guys like Andrew Luck, guys like Russell Wilson, you realize that it's not everybody makes it just because you are an outstanding college quarterback. And I think that Johnny, you know, really in his own mind thought that it would just be an easy walk in the park, the natural progression to automatically, I'm Johnny Football, I'm Johnny Manziel. Of course I'll do well. And let's face it, he's not the biggest guy with physical stature in the world either. He's only about 5'11", 6 foot. And trust me, you know, physical size like that, you look at some of the great smaller quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Drew Brees, you know, you got to be able to do certain things. And of course, when you're not prepared, it's hard to do those things.
And when we talk about his off the field ventures, business wise, how do you think the biggest business relationship he has with LeBron James is with LeBron James? So how do you think his off the field business relationships will help or hurt his image?
Well, it's going to hurt him because your image is going to be based on winning, not who your boys are, who you run with. Hanging with Drake, hanging with LeBron James won't help you if you're the backup quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. That image thing only works when you're winning football games or playing big time football and winning. That's what helps your image. You know, he's still living off a lot of the acclaim that he got when he was a Heisman Trophy winner at Texas A&M. That quickly erodes once you get to the NFL, and now you're backing up a quarterback in Cleveland. You're not the guy anymore. Well, who wants to buy a product that's being endorsed by a backup quarterback?
Do you think he'll ever turn into a franchise quarterback, and do you think it'll be in Cleveland?
Well, we've seen improvement this year. He played better in preseason games early on. It's just unfortunate he's got some elbow soreness that they decided to put him on the shelf for the remainder of the preseason after the second preseason game because of that soreness in his elbow. They feel that rest will help him heal that malady. But certainly when Josh McCown is your starting quarterback in Cleveland, it's just a matter of time before you get an opportunity to show what you can do. If Johnny buys his time, you know, becomes real studious in the classroom, first guy at practice, in the morning, last guy to leave. And we've already seen indicators of that so far early in the preseason that he has adopted a much more professional, studious approach to what he's going to do being a quarterback, then certainly there is a chance. The blueprint is out there. Drew Brees, you know, 6 foot, sub 6 foot quarterback that's won a Super Bowl. Russell Wilson is out there with a similar blueprint of a smaller guy that has won a Super Bowl. So clearly the blueprint is there. Johnny just has to make up his mind that he wants to do the type of mental and physical preparation in order to be that guy. I mean, the scenario is clearly open because it's not like he's got Peyton Manning in front of him. It's just Josh McCown.
Journeyman, absolutely. So do you think by season's end that Manziel will be the starting quarterback there?
I think he'll get that opportunity again. And all you can really ask for, Kev, as you well know, all you really want is an opportunity. When the light comes on and you get that opportunity, you've got to be fully prepared and you've got to step into that opportunity and you've got to take it. It's not going to be given to you. You know, Johnny took that opportunity in A&M and we saw what the results were after 2 years. He's got to take that same mentality and go out there and possess that job in Cleveland because clearly the job is out there for the having.
Do you think that the Browns as an organization have developed an environment for him to be successful?
Well, I think they have. They've worked to try to put some tools around him. But again, so much of this is going to be personally on Johnny himself. There's only so much the Browns can do. You have to be a professional. Come in there, work hard, be studious, adopt a professional attitude, curb all that nightlife activity and the money sign, which we've already seen evidence of him doing that so far this year. And then you'll have that opportunity.
And my final question for you, Max, is if you were to look into a crystal ball and forecast his NFL future, what do you think we'll see?
I think sooner or later he'll be successful, and I'm hoping it's at Cleveland. Cleveland is an optimum place because he's not competing with a guy that's a future Hall of Famer. The owner had a great deal to do with the selection of Johnny last year. They see him as a commodity that if he can start to win football games, he can sell merchandise, he can get people in the stands. And let's face it, it's been 50 years since Cleveland won anything of significance. So they're looking for a hero, and he could be that guy. It's all up to him. The tools are there, the skill set is there. He's got to make up his mind, study, work hard, and surely the opportunity is there. He's just got to walk into it and take advantage of it.
Fantastic, Max. We want to thank you for your time this evening and for joining us on the Two Man Advantage podcast to talk a little bit about Johnny Manziel.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Thanks for the invitation, Kev. We enjoyed it.
Have a good day, buddy.
Take care, partner.